Next question.
Hi, my question is for all the actors. I was wondering, what's the most emotionally challenging scene that you've done for the series?
Brad? Oh, you mean as the plucky young fighter pilot? I think it was the realization that there was no oxygen in the cockpit, and that I was going to die. We gave the real actors oxygen, but I think I didn't have any of this one. Go ahead, Rick. What was your emotionally challenging moment? Other than now.
It'll come to me.
Should we skip?
Emotion.
That was the question, wasn't it?
Emotion. Come back to me.
Okay. Oh man.
Oh, I know. I got to do an episode many moons ago, early on in the run of the show, that answered the question and therefore unburdened the writers and me of having to deal with the death of his son, who
Cold Lazarus was the episode.
is that the name? Yeah, there was some. I guess there was some emotion involved. That was pretty emotional. Yeah. Kid dies. Carrying a lot of baggage from that moment on, so. Hell yeah, that was emotional.
That was 12 years ago. That was 12 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, good for you, man.
And I remembered it.
Yeah. Amanda? I'm done.
Oh man, there's been so many. I think probably when Dr. Fraser dies and that whole, we go back to Heroes again. That was emotionally charged. Samantha losing her father. Oh God, there's so many. We cried a lot. We laughed a lot, but we cried a lot on the show. And when Jack O'Neill lost his son. Just watching Rick muster that emotion. It was very painful.
That one emotion stands out. The kid died. What else are you gonna have but emotion? Come on. Let's be honest here.
It's true.
It is true, we keep killing people. Be careful.
They're just actors.
You know, this is very familiar territory. I want to say something poignant about some emotional scene, but being up here reminds me of the most emotionally difficult time I've had, which is working with Richard Dean Anderson. Trying to keep a straight face throughout all this. And I find myself even now, when I'm supposed to answer the question, doing what I usually have done for the many years of the show, waiting for Rick to finish speaking before I say my line.
That's emotionally draining.
This is that was a moment in Abyss. You'll remember that when Michael first came back and Rick had died about 6 times, and it was a Friday night, and it was your first day back with us, and we were at the bottom of the pit, and it was you saying, you know, just introducing yourself again and him turning around, and we actually you guys laughed so much that night. In this scene that was supposed to be this emotional touch, we actually called the day and said,
we can't finish. We were 3 hours before we were supposed to finish. We didn't. We just stopped and said, this is too emotional scene and we're not going to make it tonight, so we came back on Monday morning and shot the scene. Because it was just, we were having way too much fun in the scene that was not supposed to be funny.
It's true, we've laughed a lot in this show, and I mean that in the best way, that obviously the repertoire that this group has, getting work done has been a bit of an accomplishment over the years. So,
I can't think of an emotionally difficult moment in the show. And it's not that I wasn't given these things to do, but coming in late, and everyone talks about, you know, the 400 years that they've been shooting the show. You know, but having arrived late on the show, there was concern, probably on everybody's part, that, oh, this isn't going to work, you're not going to get on, they, you know, they look too much alike. Because after they fired Chris, they approached me for that job on 24. I told them for years I'm way blacker than you. It's hard to pick anything that's emotionally difficult because, as you see, this is a very easy group to hang out with. We come to Comic-Con and I noticed as we were standing backstage that all of us were clustered around together just chatting about whatever it is, that you would think that after 10 years, at least Mike and Chris would have had enough of each other. Like an old married couple. I don't know how their wives get a look at. They go out together. They talk about it, they come back, you know. Lex is jealous. But it's such a great group, and it all feeds together, you know, one to the other and to the audience and back and forth, and so it's a very special privilege to be involved. So I didn't answer your question, but I wanted to express that I'm eternally grateful to this cast, to Brad, to all the directors for having included me in their world and your world. So thank you.
What was the question?
Emotionally difficult scene. I know which one yours is. The last day of shooting.
The last?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's very good. I was going to say, one of the hardest was Amanda and I in the glider when we talked about your death.
Well, not you. Which one? Yeah. No, when you left the show for... Oh, that one, dude. You can't be more specific about Daniel's deaths.
And the directors are very patient with us. I mean, and we couldn't reel it in. We absolutely could not reel it in. And that's one of the only times that Martin's ever been short with me was we were really up against it. We just could not reel it in. We actually had to kind of walk away from it for a minute.
Yeah, we were just too emotional to shoot it because it was losing Michael. It wasn't just losing Daniel.
Yeah, but Ben is right. Ben is right. The absolute hardest thing was to walk up the ramp the last time. That was probably the toughest thing.
Wasn't the last time, though, was it?
But it wasn't the last time. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. I mean, we might not make another movie, but we're gonna let you walk up the ramp again. Just for old time's sake, it'll be fun.